What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chainsaw Man Chapter Review. Today we're going to be going over Chapter 174, Aging. This chapter is a really integral chapter to the Part 2 story of Chainsaw Man. This basically reveals the entire plot that public safety has, or at least certain parts of public safety have, in order to exploit Chainsaw Man's erasure of devils and the ability to eat and cough up things to basically not only better society, but just better human evolution entirely. So we're going to get right into it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I cover as many series as I can possibly read, so definitely make sure if you see one of the series you like to read, please feel free to come by and hang out. But anyway, we waste absolutely no time getting into this chapter with what I assume to be the public safety higher-ups, the main people in charge, the financial directors, the HR people, stuff like that, right? So, long story short, after the erasure of the Ear Devil and then Yoshida making Chainsaw Man cough it back up, that gave them all the information that they needed to kind of make sure that their plan with Chainsaw Man is going to work. At least Public Safety Division 7's plan. Fumihiko, what did Nayuta call her? Dumpster woman? I don't remember, but again, name still fits. Long story short, what Fumiko's plan is, or at least their division of public safety's plan is to exploit Chainsaw Man's ability to eat and erase the devils. And what that means is this. For the last 4 minutes after the Ear Devil got eaten, ears ceased to exist, right? People couldn't hear, people were talking and no one could understand it. They took down all the information they needed to make sure that they would remember all of these things happening, because as we know, Chainsaw Man affects the memories. The main guy even says so as much as, like, we all talked about and wrote down not remembering what ears were, yet we don't have any memory of this conversation. That's very weird. What Dumpster Woman says basically amounts to, look, while we have Chainsaw Man in the Black Chainsaw Man Pochita form, let's do as much as we possibly can to advance human society. And what we mean by is this. The vague answer is we could feed it all different kinds of philosophies and different kinds of evil things and bad diseases and, evil countries and stuff like that to make the world a better place. But more concretely, right the fuck now, what we can do is we can make humanity immortal, guys. We can literally get rid of aging entirely. Now, a lot of the higher brass are asking a lot of the correct questions in this instance because they're like, well, does getting rid of aging mean that we don't die? Does getting rid of aging mean that our bodies no longer, decompose over time and we stop, growing and we just become, or everyone stays the same age that they are now? What are the things that this means? And Fumiko is completely honest with this guy and he's like, hey, look, we have no idea, but it's worth a shot, right? The fact that we can eliminate aging right now is insane because basically it's revealed that the primal devil from last chapter is the aging devil. 100% is a primal fear devil with one of the most powerful abilities in the world and one of the most strongest fears in the entire universe, which is aging, which makes sense. They have come to an agreement with the aging devil, which basically says that I will get rid of aging for you and happily die. I have no attachment to the world whatsoever. And as stated before, the phenomenon of getting rid of hearing led to cell phones and radios still existing, people still remembering what hearing was, and also ear picks and everything like that were still sold in arts and crafts. So again, removing aging, we have no idea what this will do, but we've made the pact with this devil. This devil is willing to do the deed and die to Chainsaw Man, and we have a chance to potentially level up humanity in a way that's never been seen before. So we should take this chance, right? What's the offer? What's the small price to pay for the aging devil's contract that we can feed it to the Chainsaw Man devil? Oh, just 10,000 Japanese children to be, taken out on a date per se in front of mirrors so the aging devil can see, just like we saw before how the public safety members cut their fingers off to give tribute and have it hit Chainsaw Man and make it cough up the Ear Devil, but like to the extreme. And now you could argue, 10,000 children, the whole world can get rid of aging. Again, we still don't know what the ramifications of that could mean. That could potentially mean that all right, everyone is free from death and we're able to just live forever, la-di-da, this is amazing. But also, Chainsaw Man world, it's never that simple. That could also mean that everyone is stuck at the age they are now. And of course, you've got this old fart, the finance director. Bro's literally on his last legs as we speak, going, fine, no problem, fuck them kids, let's go, let's live forever. And you know what? It's crazy is this guy, of course, doesn't care because he's trying to not die. Again, he looks like he's already got one foot in the grave here. He's already been collecting kids for who knows what reason. Apparently, his grandson's been collecting all these orphan children from devil attacks. So, I digress. My point is, of course, this old fuck doesn't care. And you have a couple people in the higher-ups that are like, actually, this is kind of fucked up. Are we really going to sacrifice 10,000 children's futures just for the sake of humanity's survival? And they're not even talking about the world's survival at this point. They're mostly talking about Japan. They could give less of a shit about the other people. So it's also possible that the aging devil making that pact or whatever, maybe only for Japan. I would imagine it's for the entire world. That's what the ear and mouth devil's been saying. It's unclear. I don't know why they say that they're only doing this for Japan, even though this will affect the entire world. But it does show that they're selfish. We already knew Old Man was selfish, but it shows that he's even more selfish because he's really only doing it for his nationalism. The one guy that sticks up, that one poor man that sticks up for the kids and says, you know what, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm not going to collect all of these kids for no reason. They're also talking about collecting kids that aren't even Japanese and then just giving them Japanese citizenship so that way they don't have to take all of their own. Wild. This guy goes, I can't do this. And the old fart is like, you can do this. And he's like, no, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not doing it, and gives him the side eye. This old man looks at this motherfucker and goes, oh, well, you can't? Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember that you actually have 4 kids of your own. That would get us closer to 10,000. And he's like, oh, you know what? Actually, never mind. I can sacrifice those kids. Fuck them kids. You are right. I don't know what the lapse in judgment I had. Unexplainable. Must have had a stroke there or something. It's insane to me how evil these public safety motherfuckers are. I understand, again, Fumiko makes a good point. They don't know how long they're going to be able to contain Chainsaw Man, if they can contain him whatsoever. They don't know how much longer they'll be able to keep him in this moment and keep him distracted. They might never get this opportunity again, depending on what happens to this. So why not take the opportunity and advance human society as much as possible? Start with the aging devil, and if we still have more time after that, then we can take out we can take out cancer or something afterwards, While I understand the sentiment, the contract is insane. Absolutely insane to me. And again, if the aging devil goes, and doesn't necessarily mean that people live forever, they just stay again at the age that they've always been at. I hope this old fart is just stuck that way forever. That's what you get for sacrificing all those kids. You're an ass, dick. But anyway, right before Fumiko goes to make the call, after all the higher-ups decide that, hey, we're going to supply the aging devil with their show, sadly, and we will be able to make the pact. Right before Fumiko makes the call, Chainsaw Man eats the mouth devil. Again, some of these fucking chainsaw devils, again, I know a lot of people in some of my comments have been like, oh, they're clearly plotting to show the strength of Chainsaw Man and show whatever, and obviously that plan amounted to be true. They're going to use the power of Chainsaw Man to advance their own, well-beings. But I think we could have tried and proven Chainsaw Man's power and came to this conclusion and tried to convince all the other higher-ups of this without sacrificing such integral, all right, the ear devil was the crazy thing. We got it back. We're good to go. You're telling me you needed to also include the mouth devil, the octopus devil, the bitter devil, and then I think there was one other one that got eaten as well. We had to include mouth. I don't know why. I think we could have thunk of a couple other devils to send. What the fuck is the future devil doing? Fuck that guy. Dude's a dickhead. You know what I mean? Trickster, douche, Loki head ass, Why'd we have to get rid of mouth devil? seems like it was pretty integral now, of all things. But yeah, it's the most interesting thing is how society adapts to the concept that is lost to time. Like Fumiko says, it's interesting how even though ears were lost, the concept of hearing was still understood. The idea of, radio, cell phones, all of these things, microphones, all still existed in society, even though no one had ears to hear it. It's very, very weird. And even though, people still had ear picks, they were just considered, arts and craft as opposed to an actual fucking ear pick to clean your ear out with. So, interesting developments. I will say that, there's a lot of people that hate the slow burn of Chainsaw Man Part 2. I think I've said it so many times. There's people, all over the place you'll see that say Chainsaw Man sucks now. But chapters like this prove that Fujimoto is really cooking with the story. And I know he said he's not really enjoying the drawing process so much, but it's clear to me that the writing aspect, the story-wise parts, and the character development and everything like that is really the most impactful part of Chainsaw Man, and Fujimoto really knows how to capture that aesthetic perfectly. And when we do have big chapters like this, you really feel it. You really, really do feel it. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for stopping by. I sincerely appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Again, I cover Sakamoto Days, other running series, Frieren even, Beyond Journey's End. So guys, please hit that like button, subscribe. Check out the main channel if you want to see some other kind of content, maybe a little bit more polished. And I will see you guys in the next chapter. There's no break week. Peace.